Hey guys, and welcome to Extra Extra, right here on the Because Maybe Network, Episode 8. Hope everybody is doing well this wonderful February 17th, 2019, and yeah, Because Maybe Network. Wow. Okay, I think I should give you guys a little bit of an explanation as to what's been going on the last couple of weeks, okay? And that's what this is about. A couple of weeks ago, I started work on our new side project, what was the Because Maybe Gamer. And as I'm putting it together, I'm realizing slowly, it's dawning on me that I've got a video game channel and a podcast that talk about two separate things at the same time. I'm going to have to get another YouTube channel. I'm going to have to get another Facebook page. I'm going to have to do everything that I need to do to get this thing marketed. And then I realized why. That's going to be too much time, too much effort, too much money, too much confusion. So I looked at what I do. I looked at what we do here at the network and or what was the podcast at the time. And I noticed that we did 3 podcasts. One show like this as needed, which is video and podcast. The blog, it's just too much to do on as one thing under a podcast, okay? Now, that doesn't mean anything is changing in terms of the content that we put out, okay? It's just we're renaming them, and we're actually giving them real schedules and everything like that. So, for example, okay? We are still coming back with the 90s podcast. That was the Because Maybe podcast. Now it's the 90s podcast on the Because Maybe Network. And that's going to be every Sunday like was planned. The Video Gamer, the 90s Gamer, which was going to be the Because Maybe Gamer, that is going as planned. We are going to actually start looking at Right Here, Right Now episodes every 2 weeks. That's a new thing that we're doing. The blog is coming back as planned. So we've got ways to do things and how we want to do it and so on and so forth. It's just now it's bigger than just a singular podcast. So that's the reason why. Basically, but the content's not going to change. The style of content's not going to change and everything like that. It's just now the network encompasses a podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog, another podcast, and so on and so forth, okay? So that's pretty much, the big changes. Yes, we've got new logos and everything like that, and that is, that comes with a rebrand, and we'll be releasing that all in the next couple of days, because on Tuesday, as of recording, which will be February 19th, we are launching the 90s Gamer here on the Because Maybe Network, where I've been playing The Secret of Monkey Island, a fantastic video game, and frustrating at times, but I love it. So if you guys want to go ahead and take care of that's going to be on our YouTube page going forward. And yeah, so, that's pretty much what we've been doing. It's been a long old slog, and of course it's been a long old slog. But I think one of the reasons that it's been as good as it has been, okay, and it's been fun, is when I went to college, I wanted to be a radio guy. I wanted to, run a radio station and everything like that. And I said before, and I'll say it again, as a mainstream media type of deal, radio is sadly on its way out. It's still got a big listenership, but now people are not listening to music on the radio. They're streaming. People are not listening to topical shows. They're doing podcasts, or they're watching live streams on YouTube channels. I mean, for example, the BBC. Their 5 Live thing, they put it on video as well as audio. So, the radio is gone, but I've always wanted to be the guy who schedules, the controller of something. Now, this is on an extremely smaller scale, of course, but, I've always wanted to do this, and I think that we're going to do really, really well with it. So that's the plan, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm sticking to it. So, basically, but we now have an actual schedule. Yes, we only have 1 day every 2 weeks where we're not putting some form of content out there. Well, actually, 2 days. But I'll explain here in a minute, okay? So, every Tuesdays, we are going to be playing the 90s Gamer on our YouTube channel. On Wednesdays, we're going to be putting the 90s podcast Bite Size together, which is these little clips of, little things that were said during the shows and so on and so forth. Those will only be happening every Wednesday whenever the podcast is in season, so starting March 3rd. Then on Thursday, every other week, we'll be having, again, another episode of the Because Maybe Gamer. Basically, we're going to be having 6 episodes a month as opposed to 4 or 8. Then we are going to do the Spotify playlist every Friday, which will tie into what we're talking about in the podcast. Again, it's only going to be during the podcast season. Every Saturday, we're going to be dropping a brand new blog, as well as last week's podcast on our YouTube channel. So, if we release some, and then let me jump ahead. Then on Sundays we are going to be releasing a brand new episode, and that episode will be released the following Saturday on our YouTube channel. Okay, and then on Mondays we're just going to do a bunch of weird social media stuff, as well as give you regular social media updates during the week. So yeah, it just gives us a little something. It makes us seem like a more legitimate operation as opposed to being, you know, a cowboy operation. So yeah, that's it. It's been trying, but it's also been a lot of fun, and it's also given me a lot of focus. So, you know, Sarah thinks I'm mad, but you know, it is something that you know, I've really wanted to do for a long, long time, and it's something I've wanted to do since I was 17 years old. So now that I'm celebrating the 5th anniversary of my 30th birthday, it's been yeah, no, I don't know what some people are going to say. 35 years old playing video games? Well, you know, yeah. So what? You know, there are people who watch sport. There are people who watch dramas every day. They're scripted. I mean, you know, you get looked at for playing video games for 2 hours a day, weirdly, but yet you can sit in front of, you know, TV for 8 hours and nobody bets an eyelid. You know, that's how I feel about it. Same thing, you're entertaining yourself. Okay, and that's almost it, guys. We have 2 more things that I want to talk about before we go ahead and knock off. Both of these are coming out on St. David's Day. That is March 1st, for those people who are not Welsh. And we're launching the Because Maybe store, which is going to have t-shirts and hoodies. Again, you know, something I've always wanted to do. And of course we have our Patreon page launching as well. Now I know Patreon can go up and down with a lot of people, and some people think it's great, some people think it's cheesy, but you know, this thing takes a lot of time and energy, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I enjoy doing this, and I love putting content out there, and I love the research, and I love the editing, I love the talking, and so on and so forth. And if you guys could even chip in like $1 a month, I'll be eternally grateful. You know, this thing does cost a lot of money to do, okay? And I don't mean like, you know, I'm paying this amount of money, but if I was doing this job for a different company, this would be at least a $3,000 a month gig, and that's including my expenses that I actually do spend on this podcast. You know, like the software that I use and the hosts that I use. You know, because I put a lot of content out there, and you know, on the one hand, you know, it's really, really cool that I now have a number on it, so I know, you know, wow, you know, that's a big deal. And it does take a lot of time, and I mean, you know, it's fun, and it's tiring, and it's really, really draining, but at the same time, I enjoy every second of it. And if you guys appreciate what we do and you want to help us out, please go ahead and donate. Like I said, it's as little as $1 a month. You know, that's what, less than 3 pennies a day, you know. 3 pennies a day, you can afford 3 pennies a day, right? And again, you know, it's we do have some benefits up there, and we do have some different tiers and everything like that. And you know what? It'll help us grow as well. I'm currently doing this in my office, in my studio, my home studio, and I would love to be able to get a bigger space. You know, I'm not lying. I'd love to be able to get a bigger space. I just recently got new equipment, so I don't need any new equipment, but I'd love a bigger space, you know? I'd love more help in getting things researched and edited and so on and so forth, because I'm doing pretty much all the research and all the editing and all the content by myself, you know. So, and yeah, we do have guests on. I recently recorded with Luke Eldon again, and I've recorded with Sarah, and I've recorded with Greg, and so on and so forth. But I'm doing the research to give to them, and then I've asked them to add to it, you know, if they can think of anything, you know, not you know. So it's a tiring thing, but it's a worthwhile thing. And like I said, if you guys are interested in supporting us in any way possible, 3 pennies a day, $1 a month. That's all I'm asking, okay? And with that in mind, if you guys are on social media, okay, we have new social media locations, and yeah, that's part of the rebrand. So let's go through them real quick. If you are on Facebook, look up Because Maybe Network. That way you will have our contact information when we are doing memes and news and updates and so on and so forth. If you are on YouTube, if you want to catch our YouTube channel, look up bit.ly/bmnetwork-youtube. That's where you can find all of our videos, and that's our YouTube channel. If you guys are on Twitter, look up _BecauseMaybe. Go to becausemaybenetwork.tumblr.com if you're on Tumblr. And if you guys are on Podbean, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, look up Because Maybe Podcast. That way, you know, we're still there under that name, because that's where the podcast is, and that's where you'll find us, okay? And we'd really, really like, you know, if you like, share, and subscribe, so on and so forth, we'd be eternally grateful. And if you guys have any business that you'd like to attend to me, if you guys want to appear on the show, send me an email, becauseofmaybe@gmail.com. Yeah, I know we've changed network, but we're not changing the email address because I'd have to start a whole new Gmail account and everything like that. So look up becauseofmaybe@gmail.com if you have any questions and you want to go ahead and have suggestions and so on and so forth, or even if you have feedback, okay? And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys Tuesday. Yeah, and actually you will see me because I've actually got a camera stuck in my face. And then we'll be back with the podcast on March 3rd, where we start on The Simpsons, okay? So, hope everybody is doing well. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.